Everybody, this is Chris, the Lotter Guy. This is another continuation from yesterday on the 646 rundown on the strategy, on the pattern strategy, which yesterday's number did break. I mean, this time right here, we finally got a number, a really good number. 607 was the number that come out last night, which totaled up on the sum of 13. So if you look over here, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row that was in the category of being below 10 and above 19. Finally, we got a break. We got one in the blue today, which is 607. But the downside of that was, in our list right here in the blue, the numbers that I had written down, I had a total of 49 of those. And the 607, a total of 13 sum, is not in that group. So it did not come up on the pattern. So the patterns that I have, which are this sheet right here, and we have 4 sheets where I have different patterns that I go by. I look at this, and that's how I get my pattern off of this rundown. And that's how I get the pattern off that in order to come up with all these numbers. So, with that being said, that was a missed pattern yesterday. But it did show up on the list right here. If you see right here, if we would have had a pattern, just like these patterns right here, we would have had the 607, 706, or 067. Any of that 6 of those combinations, we would have had that. But if you look, you'll see the date sum is the 5, and you see 607. Those right there are on the mirror number of the 5, which is a 0, and that is attached to that. In the same way right here, on the very bottom of that, and you see 607. So what I've done is I added this pattern to my list over here on page 4. I added that in on my pattern list. This was the one that come up, 607. So each time that we get a new pattern, I add it to this sheet of paper. Our patterns are going up, but normally on an average, right there, the numbers stay pretty close to 50. For some reason, they may raise on this side and lower on that side. But we had a total of 22 on the below 10 and above 19. We had 22 of those and 49 on that. Doesn't mean you have to buy all those numbers. Don't know why. What I do is I kind of pick my battles, and I normally make sure I don't go over 50 because it gets too expensive to buy any more than that. But looking at today, right now, we're looking at today's numbers. And this is the pattern today on this 646. And if you look, we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 date sums. We have 5 of those, which is a lot of date sums. But in the past, from what I've seen, on the number 6, normally whenever it comes up with the date pattern number 6, what I have seen in the past, the numbers that come up as winning numbers normally do not touch these date sums, but they kind of come up in the middle of that. So actually, this is the day, one of the days that I do like the date sums. The only thing I'm not liking on this one is there's too many. There's 5 of those. So I'm not liking that part. So a lot of times they will come up in between the date sums on this right here number. But that's not a guarantee that it will not join in on the date sum also. But we have 26 of these numbers in the orange that are in the below 10 and above 19 sum. We have 26 of those. But since we just come off of 6 of these and flipped over here on the blue, I'm hoping it stays blue for a few days, at least 2 or 3 days. Hoping 3 or 4, to be honest with you. But right here we have a total on the blue side, which is going to be on the between 10 and 19 some. We have 42 of those. 42 of them, which is a pretty good number. And this is the numbers that I come up with on that. If you see there. The reason why I have some of these right here whited out is because whenever I was making this list, by looking at my patterns, the number would come up more than one time. Say for instance like this, let's see which one, 652. I know that it come up maybe twice, and a few other numbers will come up more than once. It will come up 2 times. So that's why I have those marked out, and that's why I have this one marked out right here, because the number would have come up more than one time. Same number off of different patterns. So that's why whenever you see that, that's what happens. It's not because I changed the number, it's because I basically erased it because we had more than one up there. And that would have showed, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That would have showed, instead of 42, it would have showed 53 numbers, which they would have been, some of those would have been the same number. So what I'm going to do is right here is let you look at these numbers, and then that way you kind of see if maybe tonight at 10 o'clock one of these numbers may come out. Like I said, I'm thinking it's going to come out on the blue side. That's what I've been saying for a whole week. But it did not happen that way in the past. But I'm hoping this way it will turn around and start coming up in the blue. Between 10 and 19. That way we can kind of get an option on how we want to do this. So, stay tuned for the next video tomorrow. And maybe we will have more numbers that come out on the wind pattern. Oh yes. Like on this pattern here, this come up to be 7 missed patterns and 2 correct patterns. And one of the reasons why that's happening, more than likely, is because these come up on the orange side and they didn't come up on the blue side. But even though that didn't happen like that, the orange numbers did not show up over here. So that means we do not have enough patterns. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep adding a few more patterns until finally we get something right. Maybe we get enough of patterns to where whenever the number comes up more than one time, like over here, when the number comes up more than one time, we don't have to write that many down, and we come up with 50 numbers that we can choose, and keep that as a strategy, is not spending no more than like $25 at a time, and have more multiple wins. If you can win $250 a day, and gambling on $25, taking a chance on $25 and winning $250 a day, maybe these patterns might finally start showing up. And when they do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, when I get enough of patterns, what I'll do is I will take this pattern list, and I have 4 pages right now. What I'll do is I will try to get my wife to help me, and I will put them on the description link. And that way, you guys, if y'all want to use the pattern strategy, you can do that. So let's not jump too far ahead of the game on that. Let's just stick with still getting the patterns and getting some winners. And that's what we're looking at, to maybe get a little edge on this. So if everyone will, like and subscribe and share, and thank you very much.